welcome back to another anime review. Today we look at Tanya of the Evil, or Youjo Senki, episode 6. I apologize if I'm pretty quiet, it's because it's morning, I don't want to wake anyone up. But episode 6 was very interesting what it did, because this episode proved one of my points that I tried making last week, and people kind of grilled me on last week about it. So, one of the things I was talking about was being X, or God in this case, in this anime, where Tanya is, essentially his puppet in many ways. And people were like, no, that's not the case. She's fighting against this and that. But I said in last week's episode several times that he is God in the series. So his concept is to do things and have everything under his control. And what he's doing is essentially, even what Tanya thinks, is that he's doing something, that he's working her strings or working the world strings around her, because various things are happening with the war, like the acceleration of the war all of a sudden, and how she has to fight constantly and has to go up against very insurmountable odds and stuff like that. And, that's what happens in this week's episode, where she has to go and essentially fight against a bigger threat. But one of the things that I really wanted to point out, like I said, was that, yeah, that's what I'm trying to get at. And I know people were saying, oh, you're wrong about this, or you didn't understand it. No, I understand completely. I think people are missing the point, though, is that God in the series is the one that's going behind everything, making things happen against Tanya to make her do and worship him. So that's why I say that, like for example, in the upcoming sequence you're about to see, this was where all of a sudden we realize the war is getting accelerated, where there are planes, and it's like Tanya is realizing that this is just one of the major steps, that all of a sudden planes are now showing up and all these things that seemingly this country's not used to. I mean, the magic already is kind of weird if you think about it in retrospect, but the magic versus all of a sudden planes appearing out of nowhere, and them having to deal with this new threat because they really did not see that coming, just goes to show you that God is really prevalent in the series, and we're going to see him constantly in the series. Someone commented on the video that I had last week, said, oh yeah, he's not even going to be a big part. I'm like, are you kidding? He's one of the biggest parts of this whole entire thing. Is being X is the main purpose of Tanya. And case in point, right here we have him back again, where he talks to Tanya after using the dead corpse of one of the planes she shoots down, and he goes right here with this line: "How does it feel to fight the entire world?" He is doing everything behind the scenes in the show, and I don't know why people don't understand that. I think maybe because if someone isn't religious, they don't understand the religious concept of this. But God is playing the characters in this. Like, they're making him a very kind of cruel God in the series, of course. But in this case, he's still God. And what he's doing is he's playing around with everything, making Tanya have to do certain things just so she will worship him more. I mean, she had to say it several times this episode to make sure she was able to take down several enemies and several groups of fighters. And that just goes to show you that he is prepared to launch a full onslaught on her character. And overall though, I really liked episode 6 because it proved my point and kind of reinforced that this show has really a battle between Tanya and God, not really even the war. Like, the war is secondary. It's more so these two are fighting against each other in a way of making it where he's using in the forces of the war against her, but she's fighting against him because she has to fight against the forces of the various kingdoms that are going against her. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoy this review. I thought this was a really solid episode. I did love the fights and stuff like that. I thought they were really cool. It was a very simple episode. That's why you really don't see that many images for the most part. I just want to kind of reinforce what I've been talking about, my theory behind this whole show. But besides anything, really, what we got here from this episode also is just the fact that, yeah, airplanes are a relevant thing now, and there are three now kingdoms that are going into battle. So the world war is starting a lot faster than even Tanya realized it was going to happen. Anyways, guys, like I said, I apologize for the quiet voice, but early in the morning. So I will talk to you guys later. Have a great, blessed day, everyone. I will see you. March Comes Like a Lion when I review that later today. Bye bye, everyone.